right, welcome everyone. This is our next spotlight session. I'm here with Kathleen Thorne, who is winning the Notes Challenge from last month for the second time. And I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you. Good to be here, Yana.
Like always. So you're here for the second time, but for the people who don't really know you, can you introduce yourself and share a little bit more about you?
Sure. Loving, caring person, and I'm been a nurse. It's going on 29 years this year, and I've been holistic for that a period of time. And I'm a caregiver to my mother and my stepfather, and I live out on 10 acres in Florida, and pretty self-sustainable. And I love helping people,
Yeah.
and you know, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So how did you come to Substack? Just briefly, in a few words.
Yes. I walked away from working in the hospital in 2021. I almost lost my mom. Anyway, I was watching YouTube, and this creator came up on YouTube, and it was in 2024. And I was getting a little bored, even though I got a lot to do out here and everything. And I'm like, what's Substack? And so I went from being a productive person that's, involved in front of people, teaching, doing everything, working the ICU, did travel nurse and all, to taking care of my parents, my mom, my stepfather. So it was a huge change. And so I got on Substack, and I had to learn about it because I hadn't really been on social media or anything. And, once I did, in the beginning, I was flopping around a bit, didn't quite get with the right people. And then in September, I was writing everything, even though I'm not a writer, I'm learning. And then in September 8th, I met you, and then everything changed. And, you really showed me the ropes and everything. And, it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been great. I mean, it's been great. It's taught me a lot about myself. Yeah. And I love being here, and I need it because this is where I get my social activity usually, because I stay on the farm most of the time.
Yeah. Now that you're mentioning, can you share how did your Substack grow since then, and how did your activity and this habit that you have built to stay active on the platform, how did it help you? Because you're really, really active.
Yeah, I'm not as active since Mom was diagnosed with rectal cancer at the beginning of April, and that's, for anybody. I mean, you're going to have a life change, something like that's going to happen, and your priorities change. But it hasn't stopped me on Substack. But the growth, it wasn't really growing that much. And then September, when I met you and made you I said, I want you to be my mentor. And you said, great. And I joined your VIP program. You showed me a lot of ropes. I call them ropes. What you do, that you are. I told you the other day, and I'll say it again. I believe you're probably the best on Substack. I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of people. What you do is the best. You will guide people to where they need to be. And you say it yourself. I mean, I'm not saying you're not hard to get along with or anything like that, but you want to pull the best out of people. So we give you our stuff, you look at it, and you do what you need to do with it based on your experience, and then we do it again. And so until we hit our best. And as soon as you did that, and because I'm strong-willed as well, but as soon as I figured that out, okay, she's trying to work with me, not against me, and be in a different way. And so then I really started to grow. Like January, I got once I got the offer right, and we worked back and forth on that, and then I tried to change it and do it different ways, and that didn't work out. And I started listening to different people, and that didn't work out. So I came back. I keep coming back. So at this point, it's useless to go anywhere else. But January, I got like 8 subscribers paid, and I got some VIPs. And then February, I grew another 8. And then I've grown a little bit slower, 1 or 2 here or there. My free subscribers has grown a lot. I'm almost at 1,000. And if you think, I started at the end of July, but really I didn't start, I started with you in September, but really, I didn't get my offer right until November, December.
I think
so. If I count from when I really got things correctly lined up the way they were, had some articles on there, did some notes and all. So really from there, from November, I've grown I mean, I had some subscribers and stuff, but I might have grown to almost 1,000 in this, and I think it's a pretty short period of time.
Yeah, it's
But
about
and, there's been bumps in the road.
yeah.
Yeah, there's been some bumps in the road. Well, I have to pause, and different things that happen with their medical stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I was talking to somebody today, and they were saying that they're kind of down and out, and they feel like they're not seeing the growth, and they're not seeing it, what they want. They're impatient, like I'm impatient. And I said, look, and this is something I've really learned, and you've told me this. There's gonna be peaks, and there's going to be some valleys, and whether it's something that's in our personal life or whether we can't predict what people are going to do, right? We can just do our thing and do it the best that we can do it. Exactly. Right? Yeah. And we stick with it and just be consistent. We've talked about it before. Commitment. That's the number one thing. Commitment. You have commitment, you'll be consistent. I think it's the number one. I don't think consistency is number one. I think commitment's number one. Yeah. And once you're committed, then you're consistent. Exactly. And then you just do it, and you just do this things every day, and you've noticed with yourself. I mean, you grew a lot, and then, there was probably a little there, but then you bumped up to like bestseller. And then now, you're, growing like crazy and all of that. But there's going to be times that things slow down, and it's not, we shouldn't get depressed or concerned about it. Just keep doing what we're doing. I mean, it's like life. It's the same thing as life. It mimics life. It's just a smaller version of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm getting more VIP too.
Yeah, I also seen that in my business, in my 9 to 5. It's always like, and my boss used to use this like movement to describe it, like one extreme, then the other extreme, then one extreme and the other extreme. And it's always like
a pendulum,
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And then it goes up and down. The point is to stay conscious and be really aware when you're on top that there's going to be a down, and when it's going to, and then prepare for that, of course. And then when it's going to down, when it goes down, then the whole point is to stay and don't give up and do what's necessary to then again go up.
And I think some of it, and you're talking about it now, and I'm having to come back to you with this, is like digital products. And I won't talk about that. What I will say is that, so when you're down, when the things are not when you're down, when things slow down a little bit, then you can start focusing on, okay, I have subscriptions, but how else can I help my audience? How else can I best help them? So set up maybe challenges, and maybe some of those subscribers that are free, because there's a lot more free than there are paid, right? Yeah. Even though I'd like to have, if I had 1,000 paid, and 1,100 were paid subscribers, that would be fantastic. That's 10%. Yeah. So, and I want true fans. So it's not the amount of subscribers at all. But during that time, that's when we can pivot and do other things on Substack. So that's when, like you say, now we're looking at how we're going to. And I don't want people to think it's a money thing. It's a growth thing. It's why we're here, right? But it shows that people trust us and believe in what we're doing, and that they're willing to invest in us. So we're going to invest in them. So that's, I think, a good time to work. Now that I'm thinking about, a good time really to work on what other things can I do to help people make a decision to go from a free subscriber or member, I like to say member, to a paid member. I think that's a great time. And I think digital products are a great way as well. Yeah. And you can use your Substack email list and all of that. So that's kind of where I am, as far as that. I'm still, doing what I'm doing, but I'm pivoting just a little bit, part of my time more towards creating more digital products, or even more challenges on my Substack. Yeah. So people can see, hey, there's some value here. I read to hear what's underneath here. I want to know what's underneath here. And they're going to have to invest in me. So.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also, I think creating multiple streams of income is really essential and important. And also for platforms, I always try to to think about what other platform can I work on, so that I have, I'm not just on one platform. So right now it's Substack, but it also ConvertKit. So I have my newsletters on both. But yeah, I would like to have also different income streams, and I'm also developing them. And so
Yeah.
you're not dependent on just one thing, because of those, ups and downs. And when something is down, then maybe some other thing is up, and that's what makes it a sustainable business.
Yeah, there's a really good thing that you do. You'll have to tell me if it's for just paid or VIP or paid, whichever. If it's for both, I don't know. You know how you do the custom chat GPT based on their voice, based on our tone, and who we are. Is that for paid and VIP?
Only VIP.
Both?
No,
So
only VIP.
okay, well then people need to go VIP, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Since you said that, and you interviewed a person, another creator, or another person on Substack, that's one of your members, and he has some great advice. So I listened to that. I think it was a live, it wasn't a spotlight interview. And I went in to my personalized chat GPT that you created for me, right? And I started, I'm learning more, because I was one of those people who's like, AI is going to take over the world and I'm not going to get involved in it. And now it's like, AI can't take over the world and that's fine, but I'm going to participate until they do, if it ever happens. You know what I'm saying? Use it. So I went in and I started speaking with it and speaking about, what do I do? What's in my heart? Where is my audience? Where are they going for health and wellness and things like that? And the answers that came up, I was amazed. So there's 2 other platforms that I'm going to go on for sure. And of course, it's great to do during the downtime, right? You can do a little bit during when it's peaking, but it's hard because for me, and you're the same way, I give a lot to my paid subscribers. I mean, they don't even have to be VIP, and I give a lot more than what I say in my offer. I do. I mean, I've been working with them like one-on-one, spending a lot of time with any health issues, whether it's psychological, mental health, or physical health. And it's cyclic. If it's one, it's the other, it's that way, and mindset shifts and all that. And it takes time. I mean, one person, by the time, everything from start to finish, like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And, that's $69 for 6 hours. Do you know what I mean? But I don't look at it that way, and you get referrals from them and things like that. But so just by speaking with that one product, I'm having a conversation with AI and I'm telling them, and of course they know me because you put the data in there, and then they learn me from me because I'm, I voice text. I don't type hardly at all except what I'm editing. So I get on my iPad and something comes up, I have 100 million things I can write about. Yeah. But something comes up in my heart and it's like, I got to do it. I get up, I get on the notepad, and I just voice text everything that I want in there, kind of where I want the bullet points, what I want everything to do. I take all of that and I take that and I put it into my personalized chat GPT. And then, because sometimes the thoughts can be scattered and you're thinking different things here and there, but you want to put it together in a nice form that's readable. Yeah. And I slap it in there it's still my words. Yeah. Sometimes it'll change things and I go back in. I'm like, no, I wouldn't say that. And I edit it a little bit, but it's in a nice readable form. It's in the steps, and then I talk to it if I want to adjust anything. So it's not like Chat GPT writes my stuff. It doesn't. Exactly. But I think you may have said this, somebody else may have said it. It takes me and it gives me the best me.
Yeah, exactly. It's not my words, but I would say it automates my writing but it's my writing, it's my idea, and my experience, my stories, everything, my facts that I want to put there. Everything is mine. It just does, the boring stuff. So I think there's a huge misconception about AI, especially from those creators who kind of feel like negative emotions towards it. So they say AI does, I don't need AI to do creative stuff for me, but it's not. You can, if you use it in the right way, you are the one that's creating, and AI is just structuring in the proper way your creativity.
It's amazing. And that's the thing. I think you teach that as well, how to use it. Yeah. And so I will go in, like, even on like the digital product. Well, the other thing, my personalized chat GPT, I mean, it will prompt me on some things like, do you want to turn this into a product for, I don't know if it'll say Gumroad, it'll say social media or something like that, or, and it prompts me, and then it gets me thinking even a little more, do you want this to be an ebook? Would you like to make this a sequence, and ideas. And it helped me with one of the digital products there's two that I'm about to put out, that it really helped me. And it helped me, like, it will tell you it'll explain to you in steps. Now, sometimes, you need a little hand holding. I do anyway. And it'll tell you, go and do it this way. Do you want me to help you with this? Do you want me to put this in PDF form? Yeah. So, I mean, that one tool that you have, that when you go in and you personalize it for us, and then of course us writing articles and stuff like that, it picks up. I just think it's an amazing tool because it does so much. Yes. I mean, it's like a complete package just in that one tool.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know you have a notes writer. I know you do, and I've used it before. It's not my favorite thing. It's for me. Yeah. It's great. I know a lot of people had viral notes with it and things like that. But for me, I don't really need ideas because I already have them. I've used it and I've seen what it said, and I'm like, okay, well, that was I like that. But how will that fit with my audience? And it does prompt you and all of that. So I'm not saying it's bad or negative or anything, but what I'm saying for me and how I am, then what I might do, I might take something from that and put it into my personalized chat GPT. Yeah. Sometimes I'll have what I'm going to say in my personalized chat GPT to help me with my notes for my thoughts. Yeah. And I'll go back and put it in the notes writer. And there's stuff I may say, I like that, but I like that. So I'm going to put that together. So, I mean, in conjunction, it works good. But if I had to pick one program at all, it would definitely be the personalized chat GPT. It is fabulous.
Yeah. It's because the notes writer is not personalized, and I
right.
When I have a post and instructions actually how to use it, and it's exactly like that. So you can take your post or whatever piece of content you have, or simply like voice text to it. But if you give it context about you, your audience, and what you want to write about, then the notes are really, really, really good when they are personalized.
Yes.
If only simply ask it to give you some notes, then they're not really they're good, but they're not adapted to you.
Right. And I'm specific about it. And I used it. I mean, I did have a couple notes go, 45 likes, which is good for me because, I was getting like 6 and 7. So 45 is good, right? From 6 or 7 to 45, that's a plus.
Yeah.
I will say this, you just put out a thing in your Quest. Yeah. Well, maybe not the last one, but maybe it was the last thing that you put out about the notes writer and how we can go in and personalize it.
Exactly.
So, I want to be fair to you, because I'm a fair person. I say it like it is. I haven't had the opportunity or the time to go in and do that. So I'm sure it would definitely benefit me if I did, because then it would be like my personalized chat GPT.
Yeah.
For the other, but it'll be my personalized chat GPT for notes writer. Yeah. And I am specific, I don't just say health and wellness. I say who my audience is and all that, but it's not, I haven't gone through that part, and it's in your Quest, correct? That you're doing?
Yes.
Yeah. So I need to sit down and take the time to go through it to apply it properly. And I'm sure, obviously it will work better, because then, like you said, it's more personalized.
Yeah.
It's
definitely much better. The more content you give it, the better, the best. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, well, a lot of people have done really well with it. I've seen, a lot of people, you've written about it, and they've done really well with their notes with it, 900 likes, 1,000 likes, 800. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, 100 likes, 200 likes, 300 likes, 400 likes. That's a lot.
It is, yes. And subscribers actually from those notes, but only if you connect it to whatever you do on your Substack. That's really, really important.
Right. That's another thing that you talk about. And it's so true. And it's something that I need to focus more on. I'm noticing, because with me, I want to help people, and I want to help everybody. And I know that, I've read several articles, and you've spoke about, niche down and all of that. Yeah. And that's true in a sense, because I'm no Seth Godin, right? Or however you say his last name, I'm not him. I'm not, but the thing is that, because of my knowledge and everything, I want to help everybody. And, I have like my self hacks. Now I'm putting it in categories: self-improvement, recipes. I need to make another category because I'm doing immunity now. Because I've studied it. I know immunity, but I don't know it as well as I know it now since mom got cancer. And so I've really been studying, the NK cells and the T cells and all that. But here's what I found, Yana, as I'm writing, with the stuff I'm writing about, and a lot of it's more deep felt like struggles that people are having, whether it's grief, mind, whatever it is. I'm finding that the audience, the way they're responding, is showing, kind of leading me in which direction I need to go.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're always evolving, transforming, whatever we want to call it, on Substack or any platform, because, we're doing it we're doing it because we love to do it, but we want to give our audience what they want, what they need. Yes. So I'm noticing on my comments more and more lately that it's leading me down this path. It's still health and wellness, but this is what they want to know about. So I'm going to write about that. Now they may later want to know about something else, but one thing that you say, and I'm not good at it, and I really need to get better at it. I do it with my notes and my articles, but not as good as I should. And you wrote an article about it, and I can't remember when I read it, but it's like, whatever it is that you're focusing on that you're doing, then everything, whether it's a chat, whether it's a note, whether it's a post, whether it's a digital product, stay in the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it almost like it gives it more power. Exactly. And so I think that's the key. But I do think that as we write, especially something as broad as health and wellness, that things do evolve. And if we listen to our readers, sometimes it'll shift us to a little bit of a different direction at that time. That's what I'm finding out anyway.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I also found out, actually I found out about it already on Medium, while I was on Medium and writing there, because I had those moments before I had defined exactly what I want to do online. I was testing things on Medium, and I noticed this as well, like you, in those moments that I was wondering what to write about next. Then I started thinking about the comments and paying attention to the questions of my audience. And then I found out that actually I have an infinite source of ideas. And I should definitely write about what people want to read. And when I started doing that, it got really good engagement. So it's a great strategy.
The thing is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
The thing is, too, if they're free subscribers, and that's what I'm seeing now with me, I'm seeing a little bit of a shift if they're free. And I hate to say subscribers because I think of them as, kind of like family in a way. And so members that now they're asking for this stuff, and I'm giving it to them. But I've been doing a little bit. I've been doing more articles free. I have been because there was a little bit, slower growth because of mom the last 5-6 weeks. And so as I'm writing the free articles, and everything's free, nothing, not everything, but everything I'm writing new is free, I notice all of a sudden my free subscribers are jumping. Well, then what happens is, they're commenting, and it's like, okay, I've done, so it's a series that say I'm gonna do 10 articles on one thing or 5 or whatever it is. I've already written 2 or 3 free. Well, they're asking for more. They're telling me they want more. Time to paywall the next so many articles, because we should get paid for our time.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do people work? To get paid for their time. So now I'm starting the rest of the series on paywalling. I am giving a good information on top. You have, like you said, you give like the, how do you describe it? The how-to is below, the why is above.
Is above. Yes.
And so when I'm voice texting my stuff, unless it's something that, that I've done a lot of research on, I've got to use a resource or whatever, then I have to, do different things. But I'm saying, this is what I want to put above the paywall.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to my iPad, this is what or my Mac, this is what I want to put on above my paywall. And I say what it is and my intention and all of that. And then this is what I want to put below the paywall. And there's been times, where, they'll say that's great, or they'll ask, my personalized chat GPT will have me look at something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, it will prompt me and it's like, that's a pretty good idea. Let me see. And then I'll do it that way. So that's another good reason I work with a personalized chat GPT when you're doing that. But yeah, so I have noticed that a lot, and like you say, as long as you give everything away for free, nobody's going to pay. Exactly. I mean, you might have somebody that, might, but if you're looking to make money from your subscription,
it has to be
not going to work.
Yeah. Absolutely. And thank you for saying that. I firmly believe that that's the case. And I also saw it from my experience, from my paid newsletter. The more paid content you produce, the faster you grow your paid subscribers. It's just how it is.
It's how it works,
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to read a book, they got to go buy a book.
Yeah, exactly.
If they want to go to a restaurant, they got to buy the food.
Yeah. Exactly.
If they want to get expert advice and learn, whether they're learning how to write, whether they're learning how to build on Substack, whether they're learning how to better health and wellness or whatever, they can Google all they want. But I will tell you, my mom started Googling about her cancer and stuff. And I can't tell you the crap that's out there. It's not even, because they're going to show you what they want to show you. And, I call it the medical cartel industry, because it is. And big farms involved in it, and so is the food. But they're going to show you what they want you to see. And so she's getting all this false information. I said, Mom, I'm a nurse of almost 30 years. Let me come to me and ask me. And because now she's scared to death even more now that she's read some of this stuff, and it's not true. So you have to, I mean, do people take that for as okay, this is it, and this is what this means? Are they going to go on and do more research? Most people won't.
No.
So they need, they need someone, to say, nah, that's pretty good information, but here's something better. I had somebody the other day ask me about something, and someone had, people will say, well, I've got pain in my thighs. What is it? Well, I need to ask you probably 20 to 30 questions. Have you been exercising? Have you been, sitting in a different chair? Are you, there's so many questions. I can't answer it. So I have to ask all these questions to get to what I always call the root cause. I mean, treat the symptoms all day long, but it's, you're going to be treating the symptoms all day long for years and years and years, until it turns into something else. You may not even have that long to treat those symptoms. Yes. So we have to keep, asking questions is a great thing. That's how we learn. Yeah.
And that's your unique approach. And I really like that. So to get to the root cause and then address that, and not just treating the symptoms, because that's what most of the doctors and the medical advice comes, just treat the symptoms and it goes away. Well, maybe probably temporary, but the problem is still there if you don't address it.
We see it so much, even with like anxiety and depression, gut issues. They go and they put them on, H2 inhibitor or proton pump inhibitor. And the thing is that even with different blood types, like I'm type O, so blood type O, we produce more acid in our stomachs. We have a very high immune system, really overactive, so people can get like autoimmune stuff. But so when I had the thing with my brother, when he passed away, and I had a nervous breakdown, and I lost like 30 pounds, because when Mom came bamming on the door to tell me, that he had died, I was eating oatmeal. Well, psychologically, that hit me, and I couldn't chew and swallow for almost 6 months afterwards. And I went on completely clear liquids, and I was ending up in the ER. They checked everything, and they said it's like a PTSD type thing. It's psychosomatic. It doesn't mean it's negative. It means this is how your body reacted to this information. And I lost like 30 pounds in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And so I did bone broth, but I did go to a GI doctor, I wouldn't go to psychiatry. They wanted me to go to psychiatry. I said, no, I'm not going to psychiatry. You know, I can control that part of it. And it did take a little while, almost 5 months, but I learned a lot. But even the GI doctor I went to was a little bit holistic, and he's like, you know, we need to do a colonoscopy. I'm like, nope. And he's like, we need to do this. I'm like, nope. And I said, listen, I'm holistic. I'm not taking any drugs. You know, I did take I think it was called Prilosec for like 4 days, because I mean, I was doubled over in pain and everything, and I didn't have enough of the other in my system, the holistic stuff yet. Bone broth is excellent. It'll heal you from your gut to your anus. It helps with diverticulitis and everything. It's got collagen and it's really good. But I did take it because I was scared, and I was so doubled over in pain, and I got worse. And so I'm like, nope. I mean, I tried it, and I don't normally do that, but sometimes you get in a situation where you get scared. And so, you know, what I needed to do once I was able to eat, you know, properly based on, and I believe in DNA eating. The thing is, you know, I ate according to that, and then my acid production helped with the food that I was eating. I was eating the food that the acid would take care of. So there was no problem with an overproduction of acid, you know, but it starts in the mind. You know,
it's in the mind.
I can talk all day long. I've helped people with, you know, nutrition, with weight loss, allergies, just help somebody with shingles, stress, GI issues, menopause, hypertension, thyroid, diabetes, all this stuff. When it comes down to it, I know you know this because you teach it. Really, the bottom line is how we think.
Yes.
You know, we can eat foods that supposedly aren't good for us, depending on our mindset about that food. And if we chew it correctly, you know, the enzymes in our saliva will break it down. And then there's even a thing, and I heard Karen Langston talk about it, almost like an antibiotic that comes. So if there's listeria in that food, it'll break it down. But see, you know, chewing appropriately and all that, but, you know, it's mindset. And in America, we eat like, you know, most people, you know, inhale their food. You know, they don't chew it. And, you know, instead of sitting and having a nice dinner over an hour to hour and a half, you know, you eat in 15 minutes and dinner's over. So, but I think no matter what, it comes down to how our self-awareness of everything.
Everything.
Everything. And it's going to hit, you know, it will hit us physically, and the physically will go, you know, you have pain. You know, some people will get depressed over pain. Some people will, you know, I'm in pain. And then what happens is when they get depressed or whatever, then they continue to have the pain. So everything is a cycle. Everything is a cycle. But we do have to get, you know, that's the thing I'm focusing on more and more too, is more, you know, our mindset. How do we feel about it? What, you know, what do we think about it? You know, I think it's key.
But now that we are on this topic, can you share a little bit more about how you help people with your Substack? What's for your paid subscribers and founding tier? Members. So the members get all the articles that are paywalled, right? I mean, everybody gets the articles, but the ones that are paywalled go to the paid subscribers anyway. I do challenges. Whether it's, you know, I've done some on grief, I've done some on mindset, gut health. I'm going to do one. I keep, you know, trying to do, you know, certain ones, but then the audience has taken me in another direction. It's still health and wellness, but I'll go in that direction if they're asking for it. But I'm really, you know, I'm going to start focusing on psychosomatic resets, which are central nervous system, which comes still from here, right? It comes from here. I know that when I was a baby, my mom told me they gave me penicillin, and it attacked my central nervous system, almost died. So I took a hit as a baby. So you know, there's muscle memory, cell memory, and stuff like that. So, you know, that's something I have to work on, that was instilled, you know, mentally and through other means. But I think the challenges are really good because it gets people thinking, and it gets them doing something, because, you know, we have our core promise, you know, I'm going to give you,
I'm going to help you through articles and everything for better health and wellness for yourself, and you can use it for your family, whatever. And then you have the benefits of that. Well, what's the benefit of that? Better focus, more clarity, more energy, better sleep. And not that you need 6 to 8 hours, because you agree, like we don't. Maybe some people do if they're not eating right, if they're not doing this. But I've told you, 4 hours since I was born.
Yeah.
There was a time that I was doing recently, a couple months ago, that I was getting about 5 hours. And actually, I didn't wake up with a headache. Normally, I wake up with a massive headache. But actually, the 5 hours, it seems like to me, 5 hours is a good point for me. So getting back to that would be great. But so all the benefits, there's so many benefits that they can get. And then they're going to get a 20-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute, whatever it turns out into, because, time for me is when I talk to someone, I have to see the full picture, and we have to put a time on there, right? And so I put a time on there. They call them discovery calls. So I changed it to a discovery call and find out, what are your needs? What are you struggling with? And then once that happens, do you want help? Because I can tell you there's a lot of people that want to stay sick.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the hospital system.
Unfortunately, yes.
I've seen it doing massages when I was massaging and laying hands on people. And, before we discussed for, a few minutes, and it's like, do you want to heal? Do you want to get better? Do you want to release? I just want to massage. And I would say, not arrogantly, but, it would probably be better if you take your money and go spend it with somebody else, because that's not what I do. Yeah. To me, it's more like a healing ritual. It's spiritual. To me, anytime you touch someone with your hand, whether it's on the shoulder, whether you're doing a massage or whatever, there's something spiritual about it. There's that connection that we don't have when we don't.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this in other conversations, but so then if they want to go further, then they have two options. They can either pay me by the hour or half hour or whatever, or they can join the VIP. Yeah. Trust me, the VIP is the better deal. Yeah. Now, some people may choose the other one, but the VIP is, okay, $299 for a year's worth of support. You can't get that anywhere. You can't get that from a doctor if you go pay with copays. You can't get it. Yeah. So, it's I will support them with that for a year. I'll even look at their labs. I'll analyze their labs. I really go deep into that. I know a lot of people use founding to be like, okay, you really like me and, you want to support me. But I wanted to add,
by the way, because I'm your VIP subscriber, and I always needed somebody to take a look at my annual report, like results from my tests.
Yes.
And I don't have anybody. I have to go specifically to pay a doctor.
No, you don't. Yeah. You haven't used your benefits of the VIP yet.
That's amazing. I love that.
I also have proprietary information that I shouldn't have, but I got it from really a world-renowned, and I won't say because I shouldn't have it, infectious disease doctor. And so what they say the normals for our labs should be, and there's a difference between men and women, but they don't show that. It's the same, unless it's hemoglobin, right? Hemoglobin should be a little bit lower in women than men because we have menstrual cycles if we aren't in menopause. And so there was one person that wanted me to help her. She's on Substack. She's pretty big. And the thing is that, she's like, I need to contact you and, help me with this thing. It had more to do with like thyroid issues, and which everybody has them, so nobody's going to know who it is, but thyroid issues and, Hashimoto's and all that. It's like, oh, well, we can reverse that. Yeah. I've reversed diabetes. Now they have to be compliant. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Type 2 diabetes, I can reverse it. I've reversed it before. And it's not because, I'm this, holy.
No, it's reversible. It's just people don't know. Most of them don't know.
Right. And so they have to do their part. And so that was fine. And they sent me a DM and all that. But the thing is, they don't want to pay for it. And they're getting plenty of money on Substack. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, come on,
Yeah, I had a person like that, obviously there are not a lot of them, but there are some people, because I also have this discovery call and it's free. Free subscribers can book a free call for with me, 30 minutes. And I had this one person once, so they wanted to understand how can I help and all of that. But then they started asking me questions, like specific questions about what to implement. So it was, the whole point was basically to use these 30 minutes to get all of the help that they can get for free.
Right.
And it was, I was like, I saw that. I immediately saw that. After all, I have this neuro-linguistic programming training like in my blood. It's my DNA already. So I saw it immediately. And I usually don't do that. But with that person, I just said, yes, I can help you. And I want and that was so cool.
And that's happened to me a couple times. And I've had a couple people that actually went to paid.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know.
No, when there's genuine, I usually help people during that call. That's the whole point.
Right.
But when it's genuine, because if I don't say anything, they would never know how can I help them, actually.
Right.
So I do help them. But when I see something and I spotted it immediately, I just I didn't want them to think that they can take advantage of this.
Right.
I give so much free help, so they can just go and read everything that I have.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. And I feel the same way, you know, and I don't think we're bitching about this or anything. I mean, we're just talking real stuff. I mean, this is business.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's that we're not just giving enough. You give a ton of value for what you do. I give a ton of value for what I do.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, I used to kind of feel not so good because I did it for so many years for free. Like I said, I should be a billionaire. You should probably be a billionaire if you're not, you know. But there comes a time that, you know, that changes, you know, because our time, you know, my time is more valuable now than it's ever been because I see more and more. And even as a nurse, that we don't know how much time we have. We have no idea. Yeah, but I want to help as many people as I can. And I'll go over and above. I started doing the testimonials. I saw on one of your things you had, somebody else had talked to me about Sinja, if that's how you say it. And I saw you had did the wall of love. I'm like, that's cool. Where'd you get that from? You know, and I didn't ask you.
I can show you.
But now I have it. And I'm putting it, you know, either in the header or the footer, you know, because I don't want to do it right before the call of action above the paywall. Yeah. And so, you know, I did the one where it was scrolling through like yours. And now I'm trying a different one to see how it works. But I mean, people can go read the testimonials. I don't make those up, you know. I don't tell those people, I say here, you know, say what you need to say. Yeah. You know, if there's a negative experience or something, first, I appreciate it if you talk to me about it, but there's not any. And everybody's like, I had somebody the other day and they had thought that they had paid me $135 annual. It's $69 for now. It's $69 forever for now. And they even told me it's not enough. Kathleen, it is even $135 annually is not enough. Yeah. And guess what? They went VIP.
Yeah. When people
VIP's more.
Yeah, when people see the actual value and they really appreciate and can also perceive it the way that it is, the amount of value that you're delivering, it's normal. There are such people on Substack.
And even the VIP, she says, not enough. Yeah. I tell you that. I used to tell you that all the time. You know, we talk more. I used to say that all the time. You know, I used to tell you that all the time. But so there shouldn't be any problem, you know, if people want help and they want to invest into their health, which I believe is the most important thing. I've said before, you know, I understand people are going to buy $500, $600, $700 courses to help them better on Substack and all that. But the thing is, if they don't have their health, it doesn't matter how much money they have. I've seen people empty out their savings account, their investments, lose their homes over something they never thought they'd get. It could be cancer, whatever it is, and it's all gone. And now they're going to die. And all that work to make all that money to not be able to enjoy vacations and families. I mean, I think, yes, I'm not saying don't buy, you know, I mean, I invested in your publication. I've invested in other publications. But I invest in my health first.
Yes.
And then I invest in the other.
Yeah.
Because without your health, you have nothing. And then, and you know, time, I put time and health together, you know, kind of,
Yeah.
because
It's like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. So, you know, people need to.
Anything new? Can you share anything new that you're planning to introduce in your publication for paid subscribers and paid members?
Yeah, I mean, there's always new stuff. It's you know, sometimes I might know what it is. I don't. One of the things is the psychosomatic reset, and that's going to be a big thing. Immunity is huge, but I'm gearing a lot towards the mindset, because I know when it comes down to it, I mean, we should still eat correctly. We still should exercise, drink good water, have good relationships, all those things. But it really does start in the mind. And so getting that right and then doing the other things as well. I mean, you can have a great mindset and eat chocolate cake and do that and all that. It won't hurt you as bad as if you have a negative mindset. It won't hurt you as much. It'll hurt you, but it won't hurt you as much. And why risk it?
Yeah.
So more challenges, more, I'm kind of just going the way the audience the members are having me go, with immunity and things like that. And, a lot of things, just daily things. I still want to get massage therapy in there. I still want to write about sleep. I want to write about pain. There's but as I go to do something, the readers they're saying, in the notes, by what they're saying, I want more of this. I can't wait till your next article on that. I'm like, ding, 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 not ching, 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 ding, 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 right? That's what I need to write about right now, because that's what they're asking for. Exactly. And I'm here for them. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that, and how I believe about, working with other people, and still I'm building a community. I'm not building the community. I want other people that I can refer people to. I think it's so important. We can't do it all. And we all have different perspectives, and we all have different personalities. So people are going to be like, for Kathleen, I really like the way she does this. But for Yana, I really like the way she does this. Yeah. Because you do wellness stuff too. So, I don't think it's a competition or anything like that. I think, getting them to the right thing to do is to get them to the right person that can help them with that thing the most. Exactly. Yeah. We will get, and we don't do it for rewards, but the universe, God, Mother Earth, the nature, whatever you want to call it, we will get rewarded. Will it be financial? Maybe, maybe not. Will it be, I have better health? Yeah. My mom lives longer. Yeah. I don't get hit by a car. It's going to come back to us. We don't do it for that reason, but that's the way I believe, and I'm learning more and more. I believe that's the way it really works in this life. I'm learning that more and more. Like I said, I'm not the same today as I was yesterday. And tomorrow I won't be the same person I am today. Hopefully not. We want to grow. And I talked to you before, we were going to do this. I'll say we were going to do the spotlight interview, before we tried. And you saw that I was really upset about my mom. And you took the time, instead of, doing the spotlight interview. And I'm like, no, let's just do it anyway. But you saw that there was a need. And you spoke to me, and you let me talk, and you let me speak of what's going on and how I feel, and you helped me. And, not many people would do that, and I really respect you for that. And, and I see you differently now, than I did before, because you showed me a different part of you. And, you're like, it's okay, Kathleen, you look like you need somebody to talk to. And hey, whether we're healers or we help people with all these issues, we're human too. Yeah. Things are going to come into our lives that we've never expected. Or, it's just life. It's life. And, I told you, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't really want to live without her. I need purpose. And, and you help me with that. You help me to think about, okay, what is your purpose? What is it that you really want to do? And then I started thinking bigger. Well, I really want to have maybe a health clinic on this 10 acres. turn it into that. I've got a woman, things started to open up. I got a woman that if I want to, when they're gone, if I am the last one standing, we don't know, 2 houses, 10 acres, $2 million. My neighbor who wanted to buy 100 acres that they won't be seller down the road, she's like, Kathleen, I want to buy it. And I'm thinking, okay, if I wanted to sell everything and move to another country, Greece, Italy, wherever, and work with some men and women and open some type of a health clinic for underprivileged or whatever people to help, I could do that. So then I just started expanding on all these things, these possibilities, instead of focusing on, like Karen Langston told me when I fell twice and the second time was really bad, I hurt myself. And she said, Kathleen, you know, the thing is that you're focusing on what you don't want instead of what you do want. Because I don't want mom to have cancer. I don't want her to be sick. Yeah. I don't want to be mad at somebody. I don't really want that. The flesh maybe, but not the spirit. And so that's a really good thing. But I say thinking about, well, I don't want someone to have cancer is a good thing. But what does the world hear? Don't instead of do, right? I mean, you teach that. So I do want this. I do want, focus on what I do want, not what I don't want. So, I mean, I learn different things every day, you know, I mean, thank God.
Because when you focus in that direction, what you actually want, then you start seeing all the opportunities that they are there. But if you're focused in what you don't want, then you're probably going to miss those opportunities. And that's really the big difference. It's always mindset, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you focus on what you want and then you actually do everything to get there, and then you get it, and that's how your mind defines your reality. It's really
and after you took that time and you said, hey, we'll do the Zoom later, you know, and you spent like 50 something minutes with me, you didn't charge me anything, you just spent that time with me. After that, things started going, and it's like, you know, I always say I don't know how long something's going to last, because, you know, I have that mindset I need to overcome. It's going to last as long as I let it last.
Yeah, exactly.
And if not, there are other opportunities are going to come that I'm going to go that way, right? Yeah. And then Karen Langston told me about this book. I said, you know, there's a book, you know, there's got to be something to help, you know, that I can listen to, because I don't have time to read, but I can listen to it. And so she told me about this book, and I started listening to it. And it's by Debbie Ford. It's called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers.
Okay.
She said, I don't want to spoil it for you, but this is you. I started listening to it, and tears flowing, you know, because it talks about, you know, how we consider good or bad or dark or light. And I know you've taught me this before when I was, you know, doing some other work with you, and really everything you said is like, I don't believe that, you know, but it's coming into fruition. So there's really not we can call it a dark side or a negative thing or something like that, but it's really not. We need to embrace, there's two sides of the coin. There's two sides, maybe more than, I think we're more than two-dimensional, but all of that together really brings us to our authentic self, and we don't need to beat ourselves up about it. It really comes with acceptance. Okay, so I like this. Well, the world may say you shouldn't like that, but I do like it. So why should I deny myself?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Because if it's going to bring me joy and happiness, and then I'm going to grow, why do I limit myself that way? And we all do it more than we think we do. And I don't know if it's ever perfected. But that it's just, and I've told 3 other people about it that are listening to it, because, you know, they have some, you know, we all have similar issues that people do in life. And so it's like, you know, once we had that, you know, you show me the compassion and the caring and spent that time with me, then things started opening up, and then people started telling me different things. And then I started seeing different things. And then it's like, you know, so I mean, I want to say publicly, I really appreciate it. I've thanked you, you know, over the phone, but I mean, I really do appreciate it, and it's life changing, you know, just knowing that someone cares, you know. But I still have to do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't do the work for me.
Resonate. My words would never resonate and wouldn't like initiate that change if you didn't act on them in any way.
Right. But we're all of it, and it's okay. and it's who we are. And
Yeah.
why should we deny ourselves who we are?
Yeah.
But we do change. Hopefully we can change and evolve, and we adjust to circumstances. So, I mean, I know we're talking about my publication and being the winner of the Notes Club and all, but the thing is, it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. And you know that, and I know that, and I know there's a lot of people out there that know that. So it's a great discussion. You know, it's a learning thing. And so whether people subscribe, don't subscribe, or whatever, they're going to get something out of this.
Yeah.
I know they will. If they're open to it, if they're closed off, they won't get anything out of it. They'll be like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
And we've all been there, right? Because we're not ready to receive it yet. Oh, no, what I think is right and what that's wrong, and this is black and this is white and there's no gray. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know that you can see there's a difference from the first time you interviewed me, and you used to work with me on other things, right? There's a huge shift.
There is. Yes, there is.
And there's going to be more shift and more shift and more shift as I become my authentic self. And as I am better with me, then I can be better for others. And it's funny because, it says in the book where, I'm listening to it, it talks about when we do that for ourselves, it affects everyone around us.
Yes,
it does. It helps them become their better self,
yes.
If they're open to it. It's that ripple effect, like when you drop the pebble in the water.
Yeah. No, actually, it's proven that behavioral kind of science, and it's proven that whenever you show up in the room, even if you don't say anything or move or anything, you're immediately influencing other people's emotions just by showing up.
Exactly. And so the best way that all of us can help on a personal level, a family level, a community level, a global level, is to be our authentic self. I was talking to my mom about that. And she goes, your grandmother, her mother, she used to tell me that all the time. Honey, you need to be your authentic self. I said, I never knew she said that. She was a writer. She's a published writer. So, it's taken a long time because I have fought many things about myself. Because of the addiction, because of the abuse and all of that, blamed others, blamed myself and all that. The thing is, everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Good will come out of it if we let it. Good will come out of it.
Yeah,
I call it good. I hate to even say good now that I'm listening to the book. I say good. It's whatever's supposed to come out of it will come out of it. And I don't even know how to say good or bad anymore. I don't even want to say those words, but that's how people understand it. Maybe we need to write a new dictionary.
Why not?
Right. And it's words we don't like, just scratch them out or tear the page out. Let's create a whole different. Now I'm really going to what I really want to do.
Exactly. All right. I was about to ask you also about the book, but you already said that, I think. And that's the book, right? Do you have any?
The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. So we're the light chasers because we are light. Light is in us, and and they have that in many religions and even non-religious, so it works whether you're have we always have a belief in something. There's belief in that or belief in yourself. And it's not, one way is not better than the other, or, and I used to be so like that. And then I realized, gosh, I'm more judgmental than I thought I was.
You see? Yeah, exactly.
It's like the closer you get to the fire, the more you get refined. There's more, refinement the closer that you get in. It's like if we're pottery, we're pots. The closer that we get to that fire, we're going to feel the heat. It's going to bring out things in us, right? It's going to help refine us. And it's a lifetime thing. And isn't that exciting? And isn't that a great purpose to live?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It is.
So, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. It's just, and it's such a great transformation that you are experiencing. And part of it comes also from Substack, but it's also how you perceive and work on yourself and towards those new experiences in this transformation. And that's really, really important, because if you don't do this, if you don't take action and do the steps that are needed and necessary to get there, it will just never happen.
And before, Yana, I was doing it, and you know this because we've, talked.
Yeah.
I was doing it more out of guilt. I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. No, I am good enough.
It is. Yeah.
I'm beyond good enough, and that's not prideful. I don't want to be prideful, but it's out of it's out of love for myself.
Of course, yes. Of
I'm
course.
learning to not do this, and I think we all struggle with that.
Nature. Actually, our brains are wired to self-sabotage, to work against our interests, even just because we are wired to keep ourselves like safe, physically safe, and our brains work towards this. And most of the times, it's just not. It's self-sabotage in a lot of the moments and examples that comes up and shows up. And it's really when you want to achieve something, and you usually have to learn, and that's always painful. And then your brain perceives it as danger, because it's something new. Everything new is danger until the brain starts perceiving it as something safe. And that's always
exactly. I just wrote an article, and someone had asked me, well, what about freeze? And I didn't put that in the second article about fight, flight, and freeze.
You have it in your content also.
People will look at it negatively. I used to look at it negatively, right? I know it's a form of survival. It's instilled in us. We were made that way. We have to be that way. It is not negative. It is not. Now it can be, just like anger, which you proved to me once. It depends on which way do you want to go with it. Do you want to use it to be productive, or do you want to use it to hurt, destroy yourself, with being angry at yourself and angry at the world and angry at everything. It's the same thing. So the fight, flight, and freeze is needed. It is. But how do we perceive it? So when we are fighting, how are we perceiving it? How are we, the self-awareness, how are we reacting to it? And I hate to say positive and negative since I'm listening to this book, but I'm saying I'll say healthy, in a healthy way. Same thing with flight. I mean, if there's a bear chasing you, you're going to run. If you don't run, you're going to get eaten, or clawed or whatever. So there's a reason. But then the thing is, once that perceived danger, and that's the other thing, is it a true perceived danger? Is it, say someone's coming up to you and you see them walking up to you real fast. Are you perceiving that as, they're about to come and get me, or something bad's about to happen? Or, hey, maybe they think they know me from somewhere, perceive it. How am I perceiving that? And then the freeze, same thing. So how are we perceiving that? And so I wrote an article on it, and because someone had brought up, what about the freeze part? I said, I'll put it in my next article, because it was fight or flight. And I didn't put freeze, in the description when I was saying this is what's coming next. And so I'm like, I got to put that in description, and, so they'll read it and they'll see it. So, but it's perception. It really is. It's amazing. And there's so many things that, I will say thought were one way, and they're not. And they may be both ways. They may be all ways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing like.
If you're trying to figure out, like as if you're in a totally dark room, and you're just touching and trying to figure out what's there in that room. That's our knowledge, actually. And what we touch, that's what we know. But everything which is still in the dark, it's everything that we don't actually know.
Right, because we can't see it, or we can't touch it, or I do believe that our mind can take us, and I have actually done this. I won't give details or anything, where our mind could actually see in the dark. That we will notice those other things, and I call it our spiritual eyes. It could be intuitiveness, empathy, empathic, whatever people want to label it. But that you can see if you're willing to.
Well, the thing is that we never, in our day-to-day life, in our reality, we don't really ever experience true darkness. There's always some kind of light. Yeah. Because when the sun is not shining, then we have the stars and
the moon.
some electricity and all of that. But also, and I think that's proven, I'm not sure, I have to check, but also our eyes, when we are looking, we're also emitting some kind of energy, which can also be perceived as light. And that's how you can see.
Yeah. And I think we can see with our eyes closed.
That's also true.
Yeah. I don't think we can. I know we can. I can.
No, I think I mentioned to you, I'm also
more spiritual on a different realm too.
Intuition. Yes, there is. I don't know if you know the methods of Jose Silva. It's science, basically. It's science. So he calls it intuition, but it really is possible to perceive information with closed eyes, and even from very, very long distances.
I know.
And I think there's also some governmental programs that uses that kind of people with such kind of abilities for different reasons. Yeah.
If it's for, healthy reasons, I'll sign up, but probably not.
Yeah, I think no.
I think not.
Yeah, but that's actually something that can be trained.
Yeah.
So, and it's already in us. It's just, you need to, like the muscle, you just have to, you have to learn the skill and then train the skill to get better in it. And it's possible. It's really possible.
The neural pathways,
Yeah.
Just like when babies crawl, and it's like people with depression go out and walk because that right leg, left arm. I mean, it's the neural pathways, and we can we can create new neural pathways, and that the ones that are, and I hate to say the word, we'll say negative. Okay, I'll speak. Are
and break them.
For some reason, they're stronger than the other ones, so we really, you have to put in the work. So are people willing to put in the work or not?
Just have to work harder to break them. That's it. Yeah, some of them seem impossible to break, but everything is possible. You just have
everything is possible. There are no impossibilities at all. I think if we really got down to it, we could fly. Fly. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying it's not impossible, and I don't want people to think, oh, she's crazy. I'm not crazy. No. You just, what you know is what you know, and what you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly.
So it's like, yes, what you provide with your publication, what I provide with my publication, do people want to, do they want to invest in that? Do they want to know? Yeah. Because we will certainly invest in them. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely.
It's a 100% guarantee, 100% guaranteed, but they still have to do the work. They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want you to do it for them, there's certain things that we can do for other people. Like I know there's people on Substack that do their Substacks for them and do their notes for them and do all that. Where's the fun in that for me? The fun in that for me is in doing it and learning and growing, because writing has gotten me through a nephew that committed suicide, an anniversary of my brother's death, where I had a nervous breakdown 8 years ago. So it's healing. I don't want to give that to somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay somebody to do that for me. Now, I know some people may not have time and they just want to do it that way. Then that's their priority. That's their choice. Yeah. But no, for me, where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is growth, and this is, I mean, I just have a whole different look on things than I did even prior to my mom getting cancer. I mean, there's good coming out of that. It will take her life.
Yeah.
But you know what? She'll be in a better place. I'll miss the hell out of her.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
It is.
But through that, I had somebody tell me,
yeah,
everybody's telling me lots of stuff lately, the other day, because these people are coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden, is that, through that pain, and it's going to be painful, I can guarantee you. Yeah. But it's going to be less painful than it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I'll hold her hand all the way through. Through that pain will come my strength. That pain will be my strength.
Yes.
That's what's going to get me through it. And it's hard to comprehend that, isn't it? I mean, if you think about it, my pain is going to be my strength.
Oh, yeah, it seems like as if it's not even natural, but it is. It is.
Yeah. Because how we learn through pain.
Yeah, exactly.
And discomfort and dis-ease. It doesn't have to be disease like hypertension. DIS-EASE. Having ease and then having disease or unease or, so.
We started conversation.
I know we started on one thing and then we went another way, but you know what? It was meant to be.
Yeah.
So even if it's not about anything else and somebody learns something from it and it opens their eyes or sparks something in them, and maybe they thought about not wanting to live, or maybe they thought about whatever.
Yeah.
If it changed one person's life, this conversation, and we went other places.
Yeah.
Then fantastic.
It is.
Thank God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the way I feel about it. And I'm glad that you went with, I'm flexible and you're flexible. So we just kind of went with where it went.
Yeah. Exactly. I love that. Thank you so much for this. It was really, really an amazing conversation. And I'm sure people are going to find a lot of help in it. And for everybody who's watching till the end, thank you so much. And please remember to subscribe to Kathleen's Substack. It's called
Transform to Wellness with Holistic Nurse Kathleen.
Exactly. And yeah, you're gonna find a lot of value there. I'm a VIP subscriber and it's totally worth it. And she didn't ask me to say that now.
Nope, I didn't.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
Join me for a spotlight session like this. All you need to do is to join one of my monthly challenges, either notes or writing. Stay consistent and make sure you add yourself to the accountability tracker. Oh, and you have to be one of my paid members. If you complete just one of those challenges in just one single month, it's highly probable that I will select you for a spotlight session so that you can talk about yourself, share your personal story, and spread the word about your Substack so that more people will learn about it and hopefully become your subscribers. I distribute those sessions to my entire subscriber list on Substack, ConvertKit, NowKit, and my Medium account and my social media channels. It's easy to win those challenges, and all you need to do is just to stay consistent. I see you inside.